Today, we're talking about the weather. GTA 6 is going to be amazing in a bunch of different ways. We've seen that from some of the leaked footage in the past, and if you've been following along, I'm sure you are plenty excited. But one of the things we haven't talked about yet is the weather and the clouds. In today's video, I wanted to actually sort of go through some of the few details we got from the leaked footage about the weather, as well as compare it to Red Dead Redemption 2, because Red Dead Redemption 2 has some of the best weather I've seen in a video game, and that was what, 5-6 years ago? So it's only gonna get even better. Now, as always, before we do get started, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for the latest GTA 6 news and updates. Let's go ahead and hop right in. Now, from the leaked footage, and if you've been following along over the past few months, you know that Rockstar is going above and beyond to create an immersive and realistic experience that surpasses Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, unfortunately, from those leaked videos, there wasn't a whole lot about the weather. Obviously, you can watch them, you can get an idea of what some of the weather would look like, but most of the time it was just sunny in the clips. There was one particular instance though, and this is what we're gonna start with. There was a clip with Jason on a hoverboat at the airport, and this is an AI artist's interpretation of that clip. Look, it looks bad. We don't need the good looks of it. What's important is in the distance, you can see, well, again, this is a very badly done AI image, but imagine a city, imagine Vice City in the background. That's what it looked like. There were these really low, dark, volumetric looking clouds sort of covering the buildings. And of course, this was in a rainy environment. The ground was all wet. This was really the only image, though, the only sequence where we got to see some of that next-gen weather. And again, you can go out and find the clip yourself to actually see it, but hopefully this little AI interpretation does a good enough job of explaining sort of what to expect. Now, as far as some actual details, what we do know, and this is a pretty obvious one, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is on the Rage 8 engine, whereas GTA 6 is going to be on the Rage 9 engine. They're definitely going to be improving stuff, upgrading things. So for instance, things like volumetric clouds will definitely be improved upon in GTA 6. Some of the weather that we actually got to see in Red Dead Redemption 2 will be improved upon for sure, and we'll take a look at some of that here in a minute. One of the big things, though, I think that's going to be improved upon is actually the water physics, and we're not going to go too in depth in this. I think I made a video or two about these water physics a couple of weeks or months ago. This was from Twitter. It is rumored that GTA 6 is going to have some very realistic looking water physics, and that definitely does tie into the weather that we'll get to here. But as far as other details from the leaked footage, there wasn't a whole lot. I mean, in the 1300 World Events tab, it's not like there was any event that sort of hinted at anything weather related. Honestly, the only ones that were even somewhat similar were these events that just said a location and then water after it. So like there's some sort of event with the water at the Everglades or at some beach. So because that was the case, I actually wanted to go back to Red Dead Redemption 2 and take a look at some of the weather from that game, and then just talk and have a little discussion about GTA 6's weather and how amazing it'll be. Now, one of the complaints from the GTA 6 leaked footage was that it looked bad graphically. Look at this clip from Red Dead Redemption 2. How can you watch this clip, which again is a game that's going to be about 7 or 8 years before GTA 6 comes out, and think that GTA 6 will be a bad looking game? Honestly, in my opinion, all of the Red Dead Redemption 2 footage that you're going to see in this video is just amazing, graphically speaking. So I genuinely do not understand how people think from that leaked footage that GTA 6 is going to look bad, considering this is what Red Dead Redemption 2 looks like. Now, we'll start with the fact that Florida is known for pretty crazy weather. It has some crazy thunderstorms in the summer. Of course, hurricanes definitely hit. I believe tornadoes could hit down there as well. So more than likely, there's going to be some pretty epic storms in the game. And how we're going to do this is you're going to be looking at some RDR2 footage. This is me in single player, of course, all the graphical settings turned up all the way on PC. and I'm just sort of going through the different weather types. So you'll see sunny, you'll see rain, you'll see snow. There is one called a hurricane, and we will definitely touch on that here in a moment. But the first thing I'll say is if you're just a GTA 5 or GTA Online player, the weather in this game is not even close to GTA 5's weather. GTA 5 doesn't even have weather. I know Rockstar recently tried to increase some of the cloud coverage and certain weather events in the expanded and enhanced, like on the new consoles, but even that doesn't come anywhere near the weather in RDR2. So for a lot of people, the weather is going to truly blow people away. I mean, again, if this is what we're seeing in Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 6's weather is going to be even better. Now, I mentioned hurricanes, and that is something I personally would love to see in a GTA game. Now, look, it definitely has to be a limited event, but I do think it's a reasonable thing to expect in Vice City. I mean, obviously, back when the original Vice City came out, they didn't really have the technology to do this, but now the technology's there, so having some sort of crazy high-powered weather event could be kind of fun. Now, for single player, maybe it would have to be just in like one particular mission. Maybe it's like in the prologue. Obviously, you don't want a hurricane hitting like every week or so in the game. I think that would definitely get annoying. But what you're seeing is some RDR2 footage of the hurricane weather, and unfortunately the NPCs don't really react to it, but it's just crazy wind speeds, the rain's going sideways, you have very limited visibility, and I think something like that would be awesome in GTA 6, especially if it did tie into the newer physics. Like, imagine you're just out in the ocean in a hurricane. And you'll probably die, you know, if you're in a boat, maybe it'll get capsized and get eaten by a shark or something. But that could be a very cool thing to see. Also, imagine flying in a hurricane. One of the best parts about Red Dead Redemption 2 is the clouds, but unfortunately you never really get to go up there because there's no flying vehicles in the game apart from the hot air balloon, but that's only in one mission, and you don't really even get to use it, that much. But look at this. Obviously, this is with mods. We're flying through the clouds. Imagine a hurricane and you're flying through the clouds and there's the eye of the hurricane where there is no clouds. And just imagine how cool that would be in GTA 6. I personally would love to see some sort of hurricane weather in the game. If they wanted to go crazy with it, here was a video I found. I think this is an Unreal Engine 4 test of a storm, but imagine this in GTA 6. It probably wouldn't be on this scale, this level of debris, but I mean, this would be crazy if something along these lines was happening in the game, in the world. Again, that might be something that I know a lot of people wouldn't like because it would be annoying to just sort of stop whatever you're doing if it happened, which is why I think it could only happen in a mission, or maybe it's like snow where it only happens, like a couple times a year. In the online portion, maybe it could just be an event or something. But I do personally think a hurricane that maybe even interacted with the world would be awesome. Like, imagine the hurricane brings more water to the wetlands to create new rivers and new ways to travel by boat. I've seen some people suggest it brings flooding to the city, but I don't think that would be fun at all. I've also seen someone suggest that during this hurricane, there would be NPCs looting different buildings and different, properties, and you could either stop them or join in. I mean, that could be fun. I don't know necessarily what you'd be stealing, but I don't know. I do think a hurricane could definitely be a lot of fun in GTA 6. And that's definitely one of the things I do hope Rockstar figure out a way to add. But that's not, of course, the only weather event. There's a bunch of other weather events. There's tornadoes. This one, though, I don't think would be the greatest. Here's a clip actually from Just Cause 4. I think one of the few games that have implemented tornadoes, and it's not really the best, I don't think. In my opinion, instead of tornadoes, what they could actually do is have water spouts. Water spouts are, to my knowledge, less deadly than tornadoes, and of course they're over water. And down in Florida, I think there's a lot more water spouts than there are tornadoes. So it could be cool to actually see a water spout out in the ocean. Maybe it's not something you can interact with. Maybe, you can't ever get close enough to it. Maybe it's just way out in the distance, but I do think a water spout could be kind of a fun thing that could be a part of the weather. Now, as far as snow, this is something that, you know, we got to see a little bit in GTA Online, and you're going to see some in RDR2. The problem with snow is it doesn't ever snow in Miami. So I'm not entirely sure how Rockstar's going to cook this one up if they want to go with this whole snow during Christmas theme they've been going for in GTA Online. Now, one of the cool things, and I've never noticed this because I've never actually played in RDR2 with the snow, but it's not everywhere. Like in the middle of the street, it's kind of melted. And maybe they could do something along those lines that's a little bit more realistic. I mean, for me personally, I would love it for there to be snow in Vice City. I know it's not realistic, but screw realism. It's a game. Let's have snow at some points, because I would really like to see what a, you know, newer version of snow would look like, especially driving around on it and interacting with it. That could be really fun. And I personally like the idea of climate and weather and maybe even seasons sort of having a bigger role in the game. I mean, having seasons would solve the hurricane issue. If there were seasons, then hurricanes only happen in the summer, so then they don't happen all the time. So that could be a way to solve that. It could also be a pretty cool way to sort of link to the story progression. You know, certain things in the world, not a bunch of things, but certain things in the world change as you progress through the story. I mean, it is Miami, it is Florida. They don't really have seasons. Their 4 seasons are hot, 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 and hot. But I do think that could be really fun, and Rockstar could definitely, you know, do some funny stuff with the climate deniers. Now, hopefully, as we've gone through a bunch of these Red Dead Redemption 2 weathers, you also realize how amazing GTA 6's weather system is going to be. Again, I do think it's kind of crazy that this game came out like, what, 5 years ago or so? 6 years ago? And it looks this good. One of the things that, well, I guess we'll sort of end on here, and we talked about it a little bit with the hurricane, but the clouds. I just cannot wait to have actual airplanes and jets and other aircraft to be able to fly through these volumetric clouds. Even with mods and it kind of being a little wonky in Red Dead Redemption 2 here, it's still just so awesome to start from below. You go up slowly through the clouds, and then eventually you'll get above the clouds, and then you're just chilling. And obviously it depends on the weather. You know, right now I think this is like super overcast. That's why there's a million clouds and you can't even see the ground. But if we change it to a lesser weather, then just imagine you're in a jet instead of a hot air balloon here, and you're flying through the city. You're in around the city and around the map with these volumetric clouds. Like, I think that's going to be one of the coolest things to do in the game. And so again, I guess mainly the point of this video was to just get more people excited for the weather and for these new changes, because it is going to be a big jump from GTA 5. Like, I know we're all waiting for GTA 6 and Rockstar's being really silent, but whenever this damn game comes out, man, it is going to be amazing. And for me, after replaying RDR2 on the PC over the last couple of weeks, I cannot wait. And I would highly recommend you guys go out and do it as well if you haven't played the game, just to get an idea of what Rockstar is capable of, because Red Dead Redemption 2 came out in 2018, I believe. GTA 6 is going to be coming out in either 2024 or 2025. So if they made the game look this good in 2018, whoo, man, what is their game that's coming out 8 years later, 6 years later, 7 years later, whatever it is? How good is that going to look? I guess that's my point. Anyway, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. What kind of weather would you like to see in GTA 6? And how realistic, I guess, do you want it? Anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Please drop it a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more GTA content. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.